Welcome to our exclusive interview with celebrity fitness trainer Davide Alfonsi. He joins us again this week, and we are so excited to have him. He's the author of the best-selling book, Busy Yet Fit, and he's collaborating with Lifehack on a brand new course, the Busy Yet Fit Home Workout. And we're going to have more info about that, of course, at the end of the interview, so be sure to stay tuned for that. We're really, really excited to have him joining us today to help answer one of the most important and pressing questions on so many people's minds when they set out to get in shape. Why am I not losing any weight? So Davide is going to address some of these interesting concepts, some realizations, some realities as to why you might be struggling with losing weight. And he's going to help you make the very best of your weight loss efforts. And at the end of the interview, he's also going to be doing a really great Q&A for anyone that has any questions in regards to your own personal weight loss, your journey, anything that you have going on that might be popping up questions in your mind. Davide is here to answer those directly for you. So be sure to stay to the end of the interview and join the Q&A. And we're also, again, going to be talking about Davide's new course, which I think has some really excellent information in it and can help a ton of people achieve their fitness goals. And while Davide's speaking, or while I'm speaking, if you have any questions that you want to add or ask in a pop-up and they're just on your mind, put them in the comment section, and we're going to be sure to get to those at the end of the Q&A. Hi, Davide. How are you today?
Hello, folks. What's up? Sunday. I'm good. I'm just end of a relaxing yet tiring day. You know, when you're like a little baby, getting to the end of the day is a challenge itself.
Yeah, it is. It is a challenge. I don't have a brand new baby for anyone that might be interested. I have a 1-year-old, but Davide is right in the thick of it with a beautiful baby girl, and so we are.
Noises, that's her. So just
Your beautiful baby. We're so happy to have you joining us today. So for those of us that didn't join your interview last week or haven't heard about you and your techniques before, could you introduce yourself to the audience? Let them know what you're all about.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Davide. It's Italian name. I grew up in Italy, but I spent most of the past 10 years in London. And between one thing and another, I was quite famous in the city of London to be a celebrity trainer. Let's call it like this, because under my roster, I have a few people that are on British TV, some that are on Amazon Prime, and some that are in Disney movie that you probably saw as well. No names. Yet, when COVID exploded, I just decided to move to my wife's home country, that is Poland. That's where I am right now, because she was giving birth, right? She gave birth here near the family, and now we are stable here. So my main profession is online weight loss coach. Okay, and most of the people that I genuinely coach right now, they are busy professionals that have tried many diets. They had a lot of yo-yo diets, metabolic problems, age-related problems as well, and I just help them finally take control of their health, right? Not just lose a bunch of weight and then get it back. Literally take control of their health. And I think this is what we want to talk about today, an approach to weight loss that is different than the old one, that is, just do a bunch of cardio and eat a little bit less, and then you lose some weight, and then what's next? Okay. or if you do that, if you do the old approach and it's not working, why is it not working? And I can tell you, probably I got maybe just personally, my personal coaching, more than 300 people, I got them to lose 20 to 50, 60 pounds. So like there's a lot of weight burnt and lost under my belt of people. And I saw all sorts of cases, and there are trends, and I want to try to cover these trends. So things that go for everyone, and cases where you need to seek some help as well, because, we're all different. There's a trend, there's a way where you can start. And if that way start to work, cool. If that doesn't work, then there's a problem that is bigger than you think. And then it requires some specialized help.
Yeah, that's where your expertise comes in. And this is so great. You're talking about how weight loss isn't just kind of a one-stop solution or something that you just do and then just forget about it. This is an entire mindset, lifestyle change, which is something that's integral to your own teachings and what you bring to the table. But it's also coincides perfectly with what Lifehack believes in, is that we don't want to just help you get a quick fix solution. We want to help change your life so you can just keep doing it yourself and really find the power within to do so. And so it calls to mind last week when we did an interview, just introducing yourself and your techniques. A lot of people had questions revolving around the struggle to lose weight. So they were having issues with it, right? And so for those people who have embarked on a weight loss journey and are feeling stuck, or maybe they're just completely ready to give up, what would you say to them right now?
All right. Can I tell them a story?
Yeah.
I said this story last week, right? But I'll say it again. So when I came here to Poland, right? So I just left London town and I came here, and it was mandatory lockdown. So I had to stay 2 weeks locked inside the flat. Some people just, deliver food to me, and I just made sure they delivered only healthy food so I couldn't cheat. And my idea was like, create this Facebook group. And since other people are experiencing lockdown and they want to at least be healthy, stay in shape, let's just film my workout. I'll do it live. And then people started joining my workout, and they asked me, how do I lose weight, right? And I'm like, I lose weight, well, tell me more. And then I listen to them and do this. And then another person. And I'm like, okay, let's do something easier. Let's create just a PDF sheet manual. What will I do, right, with most people that have extra weight? I will try to get them as healthy as possible. You see the difference, right? Before, me, personal trainer, I will get actresses that they already look good and they need to lose weight. Like, okay, so that in that case, I'll go, we need to train a little bit more, a little bit smarter, and eat a little bit less, a little bit smarter. But that's already top of the mountain. Most people, they're not there. Most people, they're just not healthy, right? They have habits that incorporates nutrition, movement, and stress management that are not healthy. So what will I do with the average person that wants to lose weight? I will look at these three things, right? I will look at movement, I will look at nutrition, and then I will look at stress management. And most weight loss plans only look at nutrition. Mm-hmm. So you might have that then it became a course with you guys because you liked how many people I had losing weight just on my free Facebook group. I just put, movement. First of all, are you moving? So are you doing actually the bare minimum, 10,000 steps every single day? Now, it's not easy when you are in a flat, right? When you're working remotely, you actually need to put some effort to go up and down the stairs and maybe take some time, block it on your diary to go out and have a walk. So that's your baseline. Don't start to think HIIT session, exercise, blah, blah, blah. No, that's your base. You got to cover your base. And on the base, you build. And you build, and then you build the castle. So once you have the movement base, that is your 10,000 steps. Do you have your nutrition base? And here, everyone, what I do generally when I coach people personally, I get them to take pictures of every single thing that has calories that comes into their mouth for 7 days. Mm-hmm. I have an app that basically they get me as a friend and I can see what they eat. So I judge them. And they all try to eat healthily. I don't say anything. I don't tell you, Ali, you need to eat this. I say, eat whatever you want, as much as you want, I don't care, but take pictures. Mm-hmm. So I understand what are the patterns. And everyone thinks that eating healthy is one thing. Now, there might be people that are watching us from US, there might be people that are watching us from Europe, there might be people from India, right? I guarantee you, eating healthy for an Indian person is very different than eating healthy for an Italian, than eating healthy for a German, than eating healthy for a British sort of American.
Yeah.
Very similar, right? But very different. And is there an eating healthy that works for everybody? Genuinely, yes. So I'm going to answer this big question. Okay, so the big question is, if I could do one single thing nutritionally, right, that 100% sure is going to improve your health and consume more fat if your diet was not this way, that will be switch to whole food. It sounds very simple, but now you are in a house. How much of what you're eating comes from a box or a pack? And how much are you actually washing, chopping, putting in a pan, and doing something with it. If 80% of what you eat has been washed, chopped, put in a pan, and you do something with it, then 100% sure you're dropping fat in 7 days. You're dropping more fat in 14 days. And not just that, you start to sleep better. You start to have less cravings. You don't have foggy minds anymore. You go to the toilet regularly. You are not dehydrated anymore. Your skin looks better. You're less snappy at your partner. Like, shall I keep going? Okay. that's just this simple. Now, I know that people don't want to listen to the simple things. And I'm going to go a little bit more complex. Okay. So if eating all food is a base, you're like, I'm already eating all foods, and maybe I have like some extra healthy foods that, like, trust me, like I have a whole cupboard full of like bottles and powders and stuff. Like I get my whole food base covered. Now, something that people don't talk about, once you have your whole food, you need to make time for buying it and cooking it. Right, so that's very important thing.
Yeah,
like,
that's important.
Someone will do, and this is what I stress my clients a lot. Pick 2 days, you do grocery and meal prep. If you cannot do meal prep because you actually work outside and you need to do on the go, then what you need to do, you need to scan the areas where you generally are and find places that sell something that is as close to whole food as possible, that you may like. That's also another issue. What is it that you like? Right? Because maybe someone that is used to a diet that is very high in like sort of easy sugary stuff like milk and cereal, banana, then a yogurt, and then they only have some real food from microwave meal in the evening. From that to buying the food, washing it, cooking it is a long way and is a long process. So if someone is used to convenience, you cannot jump from that to a whole food diet because they just don't know what to do with this food, right?
It's too much, right?
You need to find solutions that take you from here to here. Nobody likes to follow a diet. That's why there's the word die in it, because it's so restrictive and it doesn't take into account your personal lifestyle, right? Like something that I hear from moms, because I personally, like, when we created this course with Lifehack, I thought, what's something very easy to cut some calories and improve hormone profile? Now, cutting calories, everyone understands, right? You just burn more than what you eat. Improve hormones, that's complicated. And I'm going to go there step by step. But what was the easiest thing I could think of? Fasting. Everyone can do that, right? You just drink water, but don't chew anything pretty much, unless it's a chewing gum, for 16 hours, right? So you have your dinner and you just skip breakfast all the way to lunch. Why is that? Well, first of all, we remove calories from breakfast. That most likely was something bad and sugary, like, I don't know, frappuccino or like banana, milk and cereals, milk and granola, like toast and jam, like that stuff, right? This is breakfast food. Out, okay? So it's calories less. Maybe you're a little bit more hungry, but usually it stacks up over 7 days, especially if you're busy. Second, you gave your internal organs a break from food, because if you eat that is not whole and natural and nourishing, you probably eat food that, it gives you energy because it's got sugar, but then there's also a lot of stuff that your body doesn't like that needs to process and get rid of. So too much sugar, you overtax your pancreas that produces insulin. Too much toxins, right? So processed food, you overtax your liver and kidneys that are detoxified, right? Sometimes not good bacteria in it, so you tax your intestine, and you can tell because either you gas or you go straight to the toilet. So that happens as well with bad food, especially old sushi, grab and go. So we removed a stressor for our body, right? See, I'm going to talk a lot about stress management because, you see, right now we think about stress just like work deadlines. No, it's not really that, right? Stress is work deadlines a lot. Exercise is a stressor because, it makes you stronger, but it's a stressor, right? And then food can be either a stressor, right? So unhealthy food, it's hard for your body. Like today, I made a homemade beautiful apple pie. I can feel it's tough to go down though. Like I'm feeling lethargic and my mouth is dry, and I made it myself, so it's as good as it gets. Yet there's still white flour, right? There's still gluten. There was still
Right.
So you see, just with fasting, we did something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The body restore its natural processes. If you manage to do 16 hours, you improve the production of growth hormone, that is a rejuvenating hormone that consumes fat from your belly. So if someone is like, how can you lose belly fat? Everyone tells you, you can't, you just need to lose fat. I'm like, well, if you do have more growth hormone than another person, you're probably going to burn more fat in the belly because growth hormone consumes white fat. There is also another way.
Fasting, you're saying that this is actually a really great way for people to,
because you have two processes. This growth hormone, right, release that generally around 12-hour, 13-hour fast, you start to produce it naturally. And then you have autophagy. Now, this is a big word in like sort of biohacking community and people that really care about health. What does it mean? It's more complicated than what you can think, and I'm not going to get there too in depth. But basically, when something is dysfunctional in your body, you have these little helpers that go there and they eat the rubbish and they clean up. So it's our most powerful detoxification system. Imagine that you cut yourself here, right? And you start bleeding. Now, there are pollutants in the air, right? And dust, and you may have bacteria, viruses as well, right? Like talk of COVID. So you have something that is called IL-6, that is a macrophage, right? That goes straight there and make sure that every bad guy that comes in goes and gets rid of it. So that's one macrophage. We have a lot of stuff in our body that we don't need anymore. So cells that they just did their job, they got old, right? You might have cells that are not functioning proper and they may become cancer. And you might also have different part of members that are breaking down and the body just prefers to get rid of it instead of rebuilding another one. Now, you activate this cleanup process pretty much every day during the night, but with fasting, you make more of it. What that does, it reduces inflammation. So when you reduce inflammation, generally you notice that you're less bloated around the waist. So you lose water retention. Okay, this can be double-edged sword. Why? Because if you do too much, like if you fast 7 days straight, you may actually stimulate too much of this autophagy and you start to become bloated and your joint hurts. And so too much is never good. That's why you intermit. You do 16 hours and then you eat for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Right. You just like the body always works in balance. There's never like absolutes. You can never do too much of one thing, otherwise the body's gonna take you to the other side. If I had to take someone that is generally not so healthy and overweight, even someone that is really big, generally I will try to start with intermittent fasting, especially to reduce their insulin sensitivity. So improve the insulin sensitivity. So it means reduce the amount of insulin they produce. Now, for who doesn't know, insulin is this hormone, okay, that its task is to lower your blood sugar. And by doing that, it stores substances from the blood into either your fat or your muscles or your liver, okay? So if you ate something that raises your blood sugar too much, very likely that thing that has been transformed in energy is going to go into fat, basically, okay? If you do this too often for too long, and this simply means if you've been having your breakfast cereals and then your soya latte, right, or just like cappuccino, and then your lunch with a sandwich, and then in the afternoon another fruit, and then in the evening curry, pasta, or whatever, that's carbs, sugar, carbs, sugar, carbs, sugar. So you every day had this insulin going bang, 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 repeat for 20 years, things stop to work. Just things stop working. And your pancreas is just not good anymore at producing insulin. And your cells are also fed up with this insulin. So they need much more, right? It's like a bouncer at the club that sees you coming all the time. I was like, oh man, just that guy, no. You need him plus 4 more people, and then the manager says like, but they're spending money, let them come in, right? But then it's just trouble for the club anyway. So it was actually better off with I worked in nightclubs, so I know this. Right? So restore, if we can restore the function of insulin, usually we store less fat. That means we burn more. So fasting is great. What do you do together with fasting? You also try to, I don't like the word lower carbohydrates. If you're eating carbohydrates 5 times a day, you're fasting, I already lowered it. If you also eat them towards the end of the day, you've been longer times without the need of producing insulin. So we basically reverse aging in that particular area. We are reverse aging, right? We just giving a break to our pancreas, and it can regenerate, and it can be back as it was 20 years ago. Like there are a lot of case studies in the US more than anything of people that follow the very, very long time ketogenic diets. This is keto diet, and I don't recommend this to anybody because it's just so boring. Like you pretty much you're just eating butter, avocado, and egg yolks. Literally, like that's what you eat all day, every day. You can't even eat vegetables. But yeah, I mean, it's good for you if you can do it for like a month or two, but then just quit it because mentally it just drives you nuts. But people that are really obese and type 2 diabetic, they do something like that, with this ketogenic diet, and they really rejuvenate. They lose all the weight, but also their organs and their values. I have a client that in San Francisco, and he was obese. Now, since January, he lost 75 pounds, and he's not on diabetes medication anymore or cholesterol medication anymore. Did we do keto? No, we did. We did intermittent fasting, and I just lowered progressively his carbohydrates and increased his fat progressively because he had cholesterol problem as well. So couldn't really, like, you had to battle with different things. That's why I say what I create in a course, for 90% of people, it's more than fine. And it starts with intermittent fasting. And then I just gave everyone a manual. And it says, like, these foods colored in green, eat as much as you want. This food colored in yellow, mostly every day. This food colored in orange, sometimes. And this in red, please avoid. And usually you notice foods that are in green are actually something that people believe unhealthy, like grass-fed butter. Now, the grass-fed makes it sound very nice, but butter. Why? Oh, so much fat. And I'm like, yeah, but you want to lose fat. So you need to get your body used to burn what? Fat. And how do you do that? By eating fat. That's just really that simple. It's really that simple. So if you know who works well on a lot of carbohydrates, so bread, pasta, rice, really, really active people or athletes, because they're naturally lean, they don't have extra fat, right? So they cannot feed very much on fat because the body doesn't like it because they're so lean already. So they need sugar all the time, and they usually very fit. The more fat you have, like me, I don't have that much fat, but I still try to run on fat because I'm not like Usain Bolt lean. Okay. And I don't train as much as Usain Bolt, for example, right? So those people can eat a lot of carbohydrates. Most people, especially these days, that we stay in a flat, really, like that's what it is, right? We just stay home so much. Why eating carbohydrates that are quick source of energy? Quick source of energy for what? For sitting in a chair? Like, it doesn't really work, right? When if you eat more fats and proteins, and usually foods that have fat and proteins, they stick together, and you all like them, okay? Yeah. Cheese, right? Steak, like this sort of stuff, right? Like, or you can go on like a health freak side, not health freak side, just more like vegetarian side, I would say. So like you got avocado, you got nuts, okay? And then you say like, oh, but what about like grains? I do not like grains, but I don't say don't eat them. I say you want to test, okay? Because grains, especially gluten-containing grains that are any white flour product, right? So pasta, even brown pasta, brown bread, and also stuff like kamut, buckwheat, millet, and quinoa, they're all grains. So grains, evolutionary speaking, they are a new thing for humans, right? So some people, they can digest them really well. Some other people, maybe they digest them well, meaning that they don't feel like stomach discomfort, but it may repeatedly cause some leakiness in their intestinal tract. So you might have heard of this leaky gut thing. What does it mean? It means that, again, eating too much, too often of the same thing slowly cause problem to one organ, and the organ is the intestine in this particular case. And from the intestine, stuff starts to leak out before it can get absorbed in your blood, and it goes where it should not be, like in your lymphatic system. So our friend, the macrophage, right, they come and they go like, what is this? Gluten molecule. Yum, eat it. And then you do it another time. What is this? Gluten molecule. Eat it more aggressively and more aggressively. Now, what's the catch? Gluten molecule is actually very similar to some of your organs. So now these big helpers, even with no gluten, they just go around and they go like, thyroid, you look like gluten. Boom, attack your thyroid. And people develop low thyroid, Hashimoto autoimmune disease, chronic joint inflammation. Some people, they have pain elbow, pain shoulder, and pain knee, even when they don't move. It may be gluten or grain. Now, you can do something very simple. Take it off for 2 weeks. And this is in a course for life. It's a challenge for you. Like I just created this course, and it says lose 3 to 5 kilograms, that is 7 to 15 pounds in 4 weeks. And the nutrition side, I have this, and it's like, just try it as a challenge, right? Try to eat those foods for 4 weeks. And I can guarantee you, I put my signature, that if you do that, plus you follow the videos that are workout videos, and you do the daily steps and the stress management tasks that are something extra simple, like just go to bed a little earlier, right? And wake up a little earlier, and just stay in the sunlight if you can for 20 minutes a day so that your sleeping pattern normalizes again. If you do that, you lose that weight. End of the story. 99% of people.
And so for a lot of people, they're saying 4 weeks to lose that much weight. That sounds really difficult. How is that possible? Maybe they've been yo-yo dieting their whole life, or maybe they've tried before. And what a lot of people will say is that it takes so much longer to lose that amount of weight. How is this possible?
Okay. This is interesting because obviously it changes from men to women, right? So men, they tend to drop like boom, like this. Women is a little bit less boom. Just because of hormones, right? Again, men have testosterone and are heavier as well. So of course it's proportional. That's why I say 3 to 5 kilo or 7 to 15 pounds, because it does depend. Like if someone is really short and tiny, 3 kilos maybe are 20, 5% of their total weight. If they weigh 60 kilograms. If someone weighs 200 pounds, then 10 pounds is really nothing. They can lose in 1 week. But in general, the first chunk of weight that you lose, if you're not already eating mainly whole food, is from inflammation. So your fat cells, generally, they are slightly inflamed. Your whole body is slightly inflamed from lifestyle dictated by staying house a lot, artificial lights, stress, and food that cause stress, right? So quick food, carbohydrates, and lack of exercise. So you add little bit from 1 area, 2 area, 3 areas. So nutrition, we start with the fasting, and then we do whole foods. Less inflammation, much less inflammation. So some weight is dropping. From the exercise, from couch potato to couch potato plus 10,000 steps a day, plus 2 times per 20 minutes of targeted strength training that basically helps you to improve your breathing pattern, so less stress again, increase the strength of the areas that are weak, so improve blood flow, so again, more metabolism, more weight loss. And then you do the stress management bit, that is like, I go to bed a little earlier. So you go to bed a little earlier, you produce more growth hormone, and you help your detoxifying processes, because they happen generally from 11 p.m. till 2 a.m. max. That's really your window for detoxification and production of growth hormone. If you go to bed at 12:30 with bright light and it takes you 20 minutes or 30 minutes to fall asleep, you missed out on 60% of the goodness, right? You do it every day, you see things stop working. That's how our body works. Our body keeps us alive, but things start to work way less better, right? So generally, the first chunk of weight, so first 2 kilos, is going to be inflammation. And what happens is that you feel great, right? Because you are less hungry, you have more energy, and you sleep better. When you get to a point where inflammation is gone, you're already consuming fat, because following those principles, your body is switching from burning sugar to burning fat. Now, once you've done the switch, consuming fat is facilitated. But at this point, you're generally week 1 or week 2, you saw progress straight away. So motivation raises, and you go like,
Right. Very
that's
important.
good. Now I'm gonna try this stuff because it's working, right? And it was actually easy because I just had to skip breakfast. I don't even like breakfast. Fantastic. So let's do more. And what's more? Well, you got your food list. You just need to stick to that, right? Green is good. It's very hard to eat only green. Like most people, they go yellow and orange. But then if you're losing weight and like, you know what, I'll do more green. And then you're motivated and you're like, oh, that's okay. I'll look online. Oh, this thing is called Bulletproof Roadmap. And what are bulletproof recipes? And you just go there and you educate yourself because ideally you don't want to lose weight. You want to educate yourself on what makes your body lose weight. That's always my aim. It's like, just if I give you something, it's like, then you're not empowered. How do I empower you? By giving you a tool that facilitates everything, fasting. When I do exercise, I just correct the areas that are generally weaker from sitting at the computer. And I don't go fast and ballistic. I just said last time, I go very slow and I get you to do 5 movements, just 5. But you repeat them, you become good at that, very good at that, right? So you actually own, and you don't go like, oh, I don't have my videos anymore, I don't know what to do. You know what to do, it's just those 5. You know what to do those 5. You can do them everywhere, anywhere in the world for the whole life. Yeah. And guess what? You don't need a complicated exercise because let's imagine your bicep, right? This is your biceps. Okay. It does one thing: flex, extend. That's it. Right? This is the bicep, this is the tricep. Now I can put it here. Really, it's just one thing. Legs, they really do the same, right? You can do squat, you can do deadlifts, you can do lunges, but what they do, they bend and flex. So just keep it simple. Really. Really, like
right?
that bit of exercise, just don't overcomplicate, just keep it simple. Let people that do it for a living overcomplicate it. For yourself, simple and well done, it's way better than complex and shitty done. Right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm not sure if any questions are streaming in yet from anyone.
Good evening, Karen from the UK. Karen, you got any question?
Good evening, Karen.
That was 30 minutes
So
ago. So
questions. Why don't we jump into, for people that are going to be watching this after the live stream, anytime they catch onto it, tell them about their course. Tell them about how you're going to take exactly what you told us today to individualize a program specifically for them to reach their goals.
Okay, so very simple. As I said, that's the end of the story, right? The end of the story is that I created this little framework and then I live streamed my workouts. It was 4 months ago, okay? And people just started losing weight like this. So I approached Lifehack because I was writing for them for more than a year. And I was like, well, I have this system. It's tested over lockdown, right? And people are losing weight. And really, it's just easy. They just need to follow, and it's so bulletproof, right? You can't fail because it's really not complicated. Follow the video, fast 16 hours, choose those foods. Shall we make a course? So I just refine. And on top of that, we added some bits on motivation because that's also important, right? Like most people, they struggle with it. Like they just like, oh, I just don't want to do the workout. I just don't want to diet. It's so complicated to cook and stuff like this. So I created a whole nice PDF when you just do some sort of brain work with yourself and you figure out like, not just like, there's a whole part that is quite important. It's like, why am I doing this? Why is my health important to me? And it's important to just see those things for yourself. I used to be a smoker. Then, my wife got pregnant. I drop it like this. I just changed my identity. It was like, I'm going to be a father. Fathers don't smoke. That was it, right? So you might have this aha moment when you just realize that your health is very important to you. And then you're like, I'm going to be a healthy person. Or you just don't have that moment yet. So you can create situations in your life that make sure that you stay motivated, you stay on course. And on the PDF, you'll see, and generally are like public commitment. So I usually get all my clients to do a Facebook Live in front of 2,000 people in my group, right? And they say, I'm going to lose this weight, this amount of weight by this time. I accept the challenge. So they feel judged by other people, but they're also motivated to succeed in front of other people. And they generally commit also to their family and their friends and their colleagues at work, so they avoid saboteurs as well. And then you need some sort of investment, right? Like, I'm sure if you make a little investment in a course, at least you read the material and you try it for a couple of weeks. If
and
you
it's
invest,
a tiny investment, honestly. I mean, it's great.
Still better than nothing, right? Because if it was free, I gave a lot of free courses and stuff. Even this course that got people to lose weight, I sent it probably to 200 people. 50 they opened the email, and all the 50 lost 5 kilos though. Right? So what about the other one? Well, it was free. They're like, whatever. If you make a little investment, then you know what, and then you go like, oh, in the course it says that like organic food is better. Well, that's also another little investment, right? It costs a little bit more, so you're more motivated, and then you may just decide to buy some supplements or to hire someone if your problem is big enough. So they hire the investment, and for some people they don't have financial problem, but investing the time, that's their currency, right? Some people that are wealthy, but they just don't have time. You know, they're just investing time in watching me. Like, I'm very grateful because time is important for all of you guys, right? So everything you can invest is gonna make sure that you keep on going, even when you don't feel like it. And then again, the third thing that I generally have here is like, let's put a deadline. Here is easy, right? 4 weeks. So you got 4 weeks, right? Just stick to it. It's just 4 weeks, and then you got your results. If you had your wedding, I'm sure you would be very motivated, right? Because guess what? Everybody knows it. There's a deadline, and you're very invested, goddammit. It's your wedding. So you do it, right? You do everything. So you see those 3 things, if you can recreate it, then you're very motivated.
Yeah, that's great. More questions have come in. This is great.
I am 7 stone down and need another 7 stone loss. Listening with interest. Okay, 7 stone down and you need another. Okay, Karen. I'm going to give you 2 advice. One is that when she's going to say the name of my group, you can join my group, and I'm going to text you personally, because when you lose so much weight, you have diminishing return on the same nutritional strategy. That means that eventually your body will stop dropping weight, period, despite you doing everything perfect, and you need to change your nutritional strategy, possibly with some supplements. Sometimes, if you've been digging your metabolism by eating very little, you might have to do a plateau period when your goal is actually to increase your metabolism by eating a little bit more every single week, yet maintaining weight, increase next. So it is slightly complicated. So an answer for everyone: if someone is really heavy and has lost already a big chunk, the way you lost the first chunk influences how you lose the second, right? So it would have been better having like a plan from point A to B, not just have a plan from point A to let's lose, because it's not that simple. Your body doesn't like to lose so much fat. It took a lot of effort to construct that fat, your body. So it's going to fight it off. So you may get to a point where your weight doesn't go down and your hunger skyrockets. Okay? So anyone here that wants to lose more than, she's like 14 stone, so that was a lot of weight, right? So in pounds, that's like, if someone wants to lose 70 to 120 pounds, that's a long journey that definitely starts with something like the intermittent fasting, and it needs, you want to have like a nutritionist behind them. eventually. You want to a nutritionist, someone like me, and doctor, someone talking to your doctor, because your doctor probably you're on medication if you were so heavy, and maybe you start to remove medication. Something happens when you remove medication, so you need to just manage the level of activity. Is slightly more complicated than I just want to lose 15 pounds, right? If I have a couple of rolls, it's different than like I'm really big, my metabolism was a bit of a wreck. And then we have a bead that says, I keep feeling hungry all the time. What's the best way to control my hunger? And then, should I be eating anything after my main meal? Okay. I keep feeling hungry all the time. This could be many things. One good point to start is try to stay 2 weeks, okay, with very low carbohydrates and quite high in fats and salt. Fat and salt, right? You're gonna have a heart attack. No, you won't. Because usually appetite, okay, especially for sweets, is a sign of blood sugar that goes too low, and usually goes too low because you eat some carbohydrates, so it goes too high again. And when this mechanism has been, just abused, it happens even with very little. Like, people with type 2 diabetes or even pre-diabetic, they have a diet Coke that's got nothing, and they have an insulin spike just because the brain just is used to just produce this stuff, just because, if your blood sugar rises too much, you're dead. So technically sugar is a poison, right? It's a poison that we can take. But still, too much, the body can't take it. And if that doesn't work, there is another problem. And usually that happens when you've been yo-yo dieting too much. So it's a problem of inflammation of the membrane of your fat cells. And to solve that is a little bit more complicated. So you probably want to text me because I don't have time to explain the dynamic of that. This is a bit more complicated. And your question too is, should I be eating anything after my main meal? If you eat something after your main meal, that's still your main meal. So probably your question is like, I finished my meal and I'm still hungry. Shall I have a snack? Now, if you are still hungry, we got 3 possibilities. 1, your main meal wasn't big enough. Very unlikely. 2, your main meal has been swallowed too quickly, so you're not chewing or blah, 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 blah. More likely. Option number 3, okay, is something different, right? Is that you have an issue with leptin resistance. Leptin is a hormone that stimulates satiety. So genuinely, adding a lot of fat will stimulate satiety, but it takes some time. So if you eat a meal and you have like olive oil, couple of nuts, and there's some fat in it, like a piece of cheese or eggs, for example, you need to have like a big glass of sparkling water like this, watch the clock, wait 20 minutes. If after 20 minutes you're still hungry, that means you have a problem with your appetite hormone. And how do you fix that? You want to try to just really stay low carbohydrate for some time, and intermittently once a week have a big meal with a lot of carbs, right? That will reset your leptin. So that will look like something like, you have skip breakfast, then you have like salad with some fish, and then for dinner you have like a 4 egg omelets with cheese and some more vegetables, and then you repeat but switching fish with meat and switching eggs with cheese for a whole week. And then on Saturday it's like milk and cereals for breakfast, rice curry for lunch, and pizza for dinner, or all 3 in one single meal, and you fast. Okay, that would be something to reset your leptin. I guess it's how to get through a weight loss plateau that is on my mind, Karen. I don't know if the weight loss plateau is on your mind or on a scale. If the weight loss plateau is on a scale and you've been trying different strategies, listen to what I said, and you've been trying different strategies. If you've been trying the same strategies over and over and again, and you blame yourself because it worked before and now you don't have the willpower to stick to it, you're getting it wrong. What you should do is like, I've tried that before. Now I tried it and it's not working. It's not because you're a failure. Try something else, right? Literally try something else. Try another nutritional approach, okay, that possibly is also hormonally optimized, like the fasting. Okay, and if you tried many things, then you probably want to text me again. And are set points fixed? Are we designed to regain all the weight? Absolutely not, Karen. We are not designed to regain all the way back. We are designed to be quite lean, in fact. If you regain all the way back, is because of that process that I told you, that your fat cells been inflamed from too much yo-yo. And you can fix that. And another Karen, thank you for your advice. My weight loss is due to cutting out as much sugar and processed food from my diet only so far. Exactly, Ale, see. Just sugar and processed food. Like, she didn't cut the carbs, she cut sugar and processed food. From that to that, you just add fasting and increase fat, I will actually say. Add fasting and increase fat and increase physical activity. And you got the second chunk. And the third chunk.
You've done such a great job just by doing exactly that. That's astounding. Great job, Karen.
She cut sugar and processed food. She lost 7 stones. What's that in pounds? What is 7 stones in pounds? It's a lot, isn't it? So 1 stone is 6 kilograms. So 10 stone is 60 kilograms. 7 is around 35 kilograms. So it's around 80 pounds. She lost 80 pounds by cutting sugar and junk food. So you see the power of removing stress and removing insulin spiking food. Crazy. I am eating decent nutritional balance most of the time, supported by a nutritionist. You see? Tongue. Smart. Never been on medication. I shall look into 16-hour intermittent fasting, though, as never tried. If you are working with a nutritionist, you just say, I never tried this. I heard that it can be good for me. And I tell you what, on top of being good for you, when you are fasting and you're used to it, the first half of the morning, you feel really good. You have a lot of mental focus, a lot of energy, more than normal. And then you can eat more. You actually eat bigger meals. So it's kind of more satisfying. And I'm not going to say that you can have a little bit of that sugar or the junk food, but you can, if you want to, with the fasting. Thank you much for your answer. How do I contact you on Facebook? There's a community. You can ask me, since you're watching right now, and it's called Busy Yet Fit Community. And you can see me, there's my picture with alpha suit and half naked, so you can just ask to join. Or there is my website, that is www.ki-force.com.
Right. And for anyone that's interested,
by the way.
Yeah, look at the hat. The hat has all the info, as well as we're going to be posting in the description here. It's already posted on the YouTube video. I'll post it in the chat again. This is a great sign-up sheet for kind of the first entries of people who want to get on this wagon, this amazing opportunity to work with Davide, to get the first rounds of this life hack course experience and to really conquer your weight loss goals. So be sure to look out for that link. It's just a sign-up sheet, and once we get your information, we're going to send you a bunch more great information and some special offers for you as well.
I'll tell you more exactly like this. We weren't supposed to disguise it. I will say that if you sign for this, you don't pay nothing, right? You just get notified when we launch the course. But the first round of people that launch the course, I'm actually going to follow you personally from the group of the courses to make sure that everything is clear and is tailored to your particular situation. And this is only you there. And so just make sure you put your email there so you got all the details. And really,
put the link in right here as well.
Honestly. We got, okay, thank you for intermittent fasting previously has led to binge eating, so big concern about that. Okay. Intermittent fasting and binge eating. I have a feeling that you either read or listened to someone saying that since you are fasting, you can kind of have whatever you want. And that's an issue. That's an issue. If I see the way I put it in the course is like, this is a list of food where you can have as much as you want, but honestly, the food where you can have as much as you want is really hard to overeat them because they're really whole food. So if you look at the green line of my food, you have like the fats that they come from like butter, grass-fed butter, olive oil, and then you have like walnuts, Brazil nuts, and macadamia nuts for the vegetable fats, and then you have like eggs, then you have like free-range meat, so free-range poultry, chicken and turkey, grass-fed beef, right? And then you have salmon, then you have anchovies and sardines for the omega-3, and these are your proteins. Stuff like, for example, pork and minced meat, it's a little bit on the orange. And then you have an assortment of vegetables that are like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, pumpkin, squash, parsnip, spinach. Can you really overeat that stuff? Like, can you hear the sound of it? Like, I'm like, there is, for example, white rice as a grain. I put it on no problem, right? And then fermented cheeses like Parmesan cheese, right? So that stuff, because it's pre-digested, so it doesn't give you issues. But you can't really overeat on that stuff. Like, what can you overeat? Bread, cereals, pasta, anything that is made with sugar, right? So like dry fruit, you can overeat. Like these fruit and nut mixes that are actually a vegetables oil meat, you can overeat. Anything that is crunchy, but you notice that there's nothing crunchy without gluten, or unless they deep fried, and deep fried is not in that list. So it's really hard to develop binge eating with real food. Your problem with binge eating is that you are going for the food that is scientifically created to make you want more. That is different tastes and textures in the same bite. So if you go in nature, try to bite something and swallow it, you usually don't have more than 1-2 textures. Now, try to bite Oreo. Now, try to put Oreo inside an ice cream. Okay? You'll see the difference. Oh. So that food is chemically engineered for you to get so much dopamine from each bite that you want more. That's why you get to binge eating. It may be also an emotional issue. So you have some emotional eating issues, but I never seen someone having emotional issues with an avocado. Did you? Okay. Did you?
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
I love the avocado.
Because that food, there's so much nutrition in there that you're saying, on a cellular scale, our cells are happier with these foods that bring us nutritional value, that deliver the nutrients to our bloodstream. Whereas an Oreo, it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. Gosh, Davide, you've given some really great insights so far. And I posted the link here. However, I'm also going to post it. It should be in the description on YouTube. I'm going to make sure that it's up there. So again, as Davide said, this is a sign-up sheet to get more information about the course that we're launching really, really soon. We're really excited about. It's a special deal. And then as well, be sure to check out his Facebook group, Busy at Fit on Facebook, and look for him. Like that.
You can find everything, right?
And exactly. So if there's any more questions, I'll be sure to forward these to Davide himself, and we can look forward to another event with him. So if you have anything pressing on your mind, if you want to ask us any questions, if you're really interested in this course.
But we want to talk sleep and stress management. So that's really geeky, guys.
Yeah, that's a big one too, right? There's so many great questions that I know so many people have that Davide can answer. He is a wealth of information when it comes to taking control of your fitness and your health. So you don't.
I just got my nose drilled to sleep better. So you know.
Yeah, exactly.
My 1 year of sleep. My daughter is
for you. She's ready.
She's trying to.
Okay, Davide. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to end this interview now. Again, I'm going to put the Google sign-up form in the description itself. And if you have any more questions for Davide, please put them in the comment section on YouTube, and we'll be sure to get through them. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Have a great day.